Welcome to Finders Keepers, where I share my tips for finding and keeping volunteers so that you can keep making a big impact without burning yourself out. I'm Chloe Myers, I'm a coach with Teambridge CVS in South Devon, and I've asked some of the volunteer coordinators that I work with to share their questions with me for this series so that I can share the answers with everyone.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Fear Free. We're the South West Domestic Abuse Charity, and I look after the volunteers here. We have various roles such as befrienders, co-facilitators and people that support us on our help desk. So it's a really rewarding role. However, there are some administrative tasks that go with it. We have to be compliant, we have to make sure we take our notes correctly, and we have to make sure that we get them in a timely manner. So my question to you really is, how can I make sure that this role for them is really kind of valuable, good fun still, that they can connect with their peers, but they know the importance of still sending those notes in, but I don't want it to feel like a job for them. So how do I do that?
Unfortunately, we know that fewer people are volunteering now than in the past. And one of the reasons behind this is that lots of volunteers left because volunteering was becoming more like work. And clearly a certain amount of paperwork and training is necessary, but if there's too much of it, we risk losing our volunteers. So getting that balance right is so important. So we need to have really clear role descriptions that outline the expectations and boundaries of each role, and these might need to be personalised for every single volunteer. You also need to make sure that paid and voluntary opportunities are distinct, and volunteers aren't just doing unpaid work. They're not here for work experience. So think about the level of risk and responsibility you're asking them to take on. And really take time to assess what is necessary for each role and each person and why. You don't need to make every single volunteer complete standard mandatory training if it's not relevant for what they're doing. They might have a paid role or volunteer elsewhere and have completed similar training recently. Do you really need them to complete it again? I was working with an organisation recently who were talking about the frustration of chasing volunteers to complete their e-learning programme. So I asked them what's really important. Is it about getting that e-learning ticked off, or for the volunteer to have the relevant knowledge? Because some volunteers really hate using IT, or they're just not confident with it, and they could be given that information in other, more accessible ways. So always play to your volunteers' strengths. You've probably got some that love using IT and learning, and others that are great teachers. So can you match those people up? Because often the people who are great with people aren't so good when it comes to paperwork, and vice versa. Make sure your volunteers understand why you're asking them to complete any training or paperwork, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you've spent ages working on a report only for it to get lost in a black hole and never looked at. So show appreciation when they've done this and give feedback on what you've done with what they've given you. Maybe it's been the difference between getting a grant renewed or not. So in my role as Deputy Mayor, I've been pleasantly surprised just how easy it is to claim my expenses. I hand in a receipt with no extra form and get reimbursed. That makes a huge difference to me. If I had to do a form as well, I probably wouldn't bother claiming my expenses. And that could make me resentful that giving my time was also costing me money. So please come and join the Teambridge Together Facebook group to chat with other volunteer coordinators and share best practice. Thank you so much for watching Finders Keepers. I really hope it's been useful. I would love to hear your comments below, and please come and follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Chloe Myers. Thank you.